So happy Samhain, happy Halloween, happy All Saints Day, however you celebrate this time. So I've been sharing on my stories that I was going to be bringing through a transmission from the golden dragons and they popped up in my field really strongly last week, and it was really interesting how they appeared. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about the process of priming, which is something that a lot of galactic and elemental beings will do as they are bridging that sort of contact. So I'm just going to wait a little minute to begin. Hey Dustin. Hey Alana. So I'm just going to wait a little minute before I begin with this golden dragon transmission. And it's so interesting, so many people have been messaging me about either golden dragons or different types of dragons just popping up in their fields recently. And I think we're seeing huge shifts with the dragon grid. I've really noticed that over the past year or so, like the dragon ley lines like have been so activated. Even like 2021, 22 as well. I really noticed that. So much dragon energy coming through. So yeah, so I'll start just by sharing a little bit about how they popped into my field last week. So it was actually just after the last transmission, and I think I was lying in bed, I can't remember. Hey Sarah. And I just had these beautiful golden dragon beings appear in my field, and I was like, okay, hey, like what's going on here? And hey Sita. And they had started priming me about a week before, but I hadn't put two and two together that they were, connected with these sort of messages that I'd been receiving maybe a week or so prior. So I kept hearing the word shekels, like it just kept coming into my field. I kept seeing all of these like golden coins as well, golden silver coins. And I was like, what's going on? Like, what are these? I felt like they were connected, but I was like, you're never, sometimes you're not always like 100% sure what an energy is when it's coming into your field, and you kind of have to sit with it and just see what comes up. But it really had that energy of what I like to call priming, which is when you have a sort of galactic being, an elemental being that is desiring to bridge contact with you, and they may be an aspect of self, they may be a new guide, or someone who's a member of your spirit team. And often what they'll do is they'll kind of just jump into your field and kind of ping you with like symbols or with something that represents their consciousness. And it could literally be anything, but something, it could be like an energy, it could be, if you're visual, it might be a more visual kind of image that they sort of ping into your field. And that is just to get you used to their energy. It's almost like an attunement where they'll just start to sort of bridge their frequency into your field and just see sort of your reaction and your response. And are you ready to sort of open up to that level of contact with another aspect of yourself? 90% of the time when we first start to open up to this kind of stuff, it is just another aspect of self. It's sometimes it is guides as well that aren't necessarily connected with our, what we might call like our oversoul. But most often, for most people, it is an aspect of them from another dimensional plane. So that is basically what happened to me with these golden dragons was they started just sort of pinging this sort of information at me and attuning me to their frequency. And so when I had completed the last live transmission, you know, I was feeling very open and expanded, and they kind of just popped into my field and they were like, okay, so next transmission, we'd love to come through. And I just felt into the energy of their collective. It's like so, just that beautiful frequency of expansion and abundance. And I think so many of us are really going through this clearing of these old scarcity templates. And I see this in clients so much. I see this in myself of like really tuning into that frequency of like, oh my God, we are enough. We have enough. And that is how we then are able to create more and not hold that sort of guilt around having more. That's such a big piece as well. That like it isn't good to have more, or we should never have more than we need, or we always have to give more than we receive. That was something I cleared recently. I always feel like I have to give more than I actually am able to receive. And so it comes up in all of these like fascinating ways. Our sort of relationship with abundance. And whenever clients come to me and they say, oh, you know, I'm struggling to manifest money, or I'm struggling to like bring money into my field, always, it's never actually about the money. It's about something deeper going on, some other area in their life that they are feeling that they have that sense of lack within. And you can hear it in people's language. It comes through, you know, in the way that we feel like, you know, maybe we only have two choices in a scenario, or we always view things as this or that, as very like dual in nature. You know, there's so many different ways that lack, that frequency of lack comes through us. And yeah, I think was it last transmission they were talking about the new earth grids and like this new sort of these new frequencies which are coming through, which is like, if you are like a healer, if you are a helper, like the wealth is shifting into your hands. If you are somebody that is here to really, you know, support the collective in whatever way that is, you know, it doesn't have to be being a healer. You know, we're all healers in our own right. And if you are somebody that is holding that new earth blueprint, then like you don't ever have to worry about money. You just have to work out where in your field you're blocking it from coming to you. Because if you are coming from a pure place and just coming from that heart-based, like, I want to share with the world, I want to build with the world, I want to make connections, like real true heart-based connections, then, you know, abundance is yours. You know, it's just about lifting yourself out of those places. And so often it's ancestral, so often it's other sort of scarcity templates and programs that we're playing into, or we're playing small within, that we feel we have to to stay there, or we can't see that there's these other options or these other alternatives. And so I've really been working on that in my own field, but also with clients. It's been coming up so much, this sort of idea of abundance, and how do we really anchor that into our lives and our relationships and just in everything that we are. So I can feel this dragon energy building, and feels like they're gonna come through with light language, but also some messages as well. And yeah, it's really anchoring. I can feel it happening now. It's like really supporting and anchoring this grid. It's all these 88888 numbers, you know, and just really yeah, as we're in this Samhain portal, this time where, you know, I know everyone says it, but the veil is thin, then, you know, we're really what I kept hearing was like sowing the seeds. It's like we're in this beautiful window of opportunity to plant what it is that we are calling in, what it is that we are birthing. And we should all have the freedom to create, the freedom to, I could feel there's so many creators on this call, or who are going to be, you know, connecting in, people who are really, really connected with that artistic frequency. It's like we should be able to create freely and experience an energy of reciprocity around that. We should never feel like we are restricted or like we, the sort of starving artist archetype. So, yeah, and I just hear as well just this message of like the releasing like the shame of like ancestral guilt around money, releasing releasing old programs, old ways of being that are inherited, and especially like guilt of having money when others don't have it, projecting that sort of sense of lack onto others as well, is something that we're helping to shift out of today. And yeah, they're really coming through right now with this, like it's okay to like spread your wings and fly. So of course with that dragon energy, of course they're going to be bringing through these wings sort of metaphors, flying kind of metaphors. And another thing they're also sharing is like their frequency. They are almost like gatekeepers or wisdom keepers of the sort of realms of abundance that the earth is being able to shift into now, releasing those old paradigms which existed around money and being able to really birth something new, something which hasn't been done on the planet in the same way before. So if you're tuning into this transmission, then you are no doubt part of that next stage of evolution. And if you know much about dragon beings, they are often kind of referred to as like the birthers of galaxies, of realities, of stars. And really hold that sacred gatekeeper frequency or archetype. And just a message around releasing the fear of really expressing your truest passions. That is always going to be your pathway or your window into abundance. Doing what you really love, doing what really lights you up. So anywhere we're holding these beliefs around not being able to pursue our passions out of a fear of not being able to have material wealth, just removing that from the throat. Anywhere we've bought and sold that as truth from our parents, or maybe our parents have said to us, but you can't do that because how are you going to earn money? We're just destroying and uncreating that across all timelines, dimensions, spaces, and realities. And just hearing as well, if you do have like a question for it's like an ambassador of the Golden Dragons, if you do have a question that you would like them to answer, please feel free to put it in the chat. And they're just sharing as well, it's like fundamentally they are beings of service, and the blueprint that they hold is like showing that whenever we are in our deepest, most soul aligned service, that is where we are going to meet with or match with our deepest sense of abundance. So even if we're in a job that we're earning a lot of money, if we don't actually enjoy it, that isn't actually abundance. Abundance isn't always about the amount of money that is in the bank. It's more about the energy and the frequency that we're playing in. And if you're in a job that you don't like, but you're doing it only for the money, that is coming from a place of lack. So you're only ever going to really manifest more of that sense of lack, which will show up in all of these other areas of your life, like not being able to spend time with your kids, or not being able to spend time with loved ones, or not really feeling truly fulfilled in the energy of your soul. And if you're sitting wondering, well, where are my passions? Where are my truest passions? What are they? We can always look back to childhood. Children always know intuitively what they are here to be, what they are here to do. Just often that gets stamped out of them early. Or isn't nurtured or encouraged. Or they start to learn about the money structures of the world, and they think, okay, well, I can't make money from that. So the invitation is to return yourself to your inner child and to ask, well, what is it that I really want to be? What is it that I really want to do? Never has there been a time on earth where it is more fruitful, where it will be more beneficial for you to follow the passion of your soul. Mushukoyasa Misha Vutayasa Isakrundesha Suishukurantase Shakrata Mishakantaise Ke Resi Ishuku Sekasha Wishakantaise Ushukura Sayashaku Isikre Ishikre Futakantaisa. So just tuning into those ancestral bloodlines. Where we're holding those scarcity templates. And anything that we can dissolve today, we are asking for that to release. Any scarcity templates we're holding that are plugged into any grids with entities attached to them, we are now releasing, extracting. And just anchoring deeper into our own individual soul blueprints. Anywhere that we're holding our mother's energy around the frequency of money, we're returning that where we can. Dissolving now. And anywhere we're holding the frequency of our father's energy around money. Feel that a lot in the throat there. Anywhere we're holding any contracts around lack being good or lack actually being beneficial. Recanting, rescinding and revoking across all timelines, dimensions, spaces and realities. sa susu shukurata karata shukurasa mita lo soya shukurasa vitaya shukurasa dissolving now tankaisa wisha wasaya sukuyasha, and just calling in what it is that your soul is really here for. Futakashaya wisa Vishanasa. And it's okay if you don't get any images or any words. We're just calling in the light of our soul and just asking what else is possible for us to experience. Where do we need to go? Who do we need to meet? Anywhere that we're holding this idea that money has to come from work or that it has to be connected with an employer, just destroying and uncreating across all timelines, dimensions, spaces and realities, and just asking what else is possible, what else is possible in this multidimensional experience. And just grounding this in to the earth's grid, and just getting this overwhelming sense of the rose frequency coming through. And those on the rose priestess lineage, that was all about creating beauty in our lives, creating abundance in our lives, and trusting what we're here to bring, trusting in how we bloom. So a reminder for those of us that carry those lineages in past lifetimes, an invitation to remember that in this lifetime. The rose never forgets those who serve her, who have served her. Okay, so just feeling a little blessing coming through from the fairy realms, from the elemental kingdoms. And they're kind of echoing something that I've been playing with, which is like, how can money come from these unexpected places? How can we have fun with this? And anyone who's connected with fairies, with elemental beings before, knows they're all about fun and joy and playfulness. So how can we accept that invitation to bring that into other areas of our lives? And again, just grounding all of this down through our central columns, just deep down into the earth. Vishasa Mukushaya Shankai se Putasha Kukakayasa Futasai Shikrese Fukasa. And just feeling some of those more traditional Samhain energies coming through the kayak, Hecate, just reminding us the more that we tune into the earth, the more that we ground into her, and the more that we honor the seasons within us, the seasons which appear as though they're happening externally and they're also happening internally, the more in alignment we can become. Okay. Thank you all so much for coming. If you have any questions you want to pop in the chat or any feedback, please feel free. I see so many people here. Hey Rebecca, hey Sophie, hey Ali. Hey Liz. Oh, thank you Liz. Thank you for coming. Just removing a bit of a throat blockage from someone there. Thank you. I always seem to be late, but my phone was off. Well, don't worry, I was late today as well, Rebecca. To my own life. Thank you, Shakti, and to the Golden Dragons to Bridge. Yeah, wow. Their frequency is like, oh, so powerful. Oh, thank you for coming, Sophie. So glad that you came. Thank you so much, guys. Just seeing if there's anything else coming through. Thank you for that throat clearing. No worries, Dustin. I could feel that coming in at the end there. I was like, oh, this needs to move. Yeah, and I feel someone's energy sitting up around the crown, so I'm just grounding that in down to the root as well. Yeah, to the playful fairies too. Oh my gosh, I could feel them coming in at the end with like this fairy blessing energy. And just a little message as well, just like remembering, I know it can be hard, but like just always remembering, like anchoring into those beliefs that we are always guided, we are always loved, we are always protected, and just really allowing ourselves to enter into that flow. I'm curious, what does dragon energy feel like to you? Oh my gosh. So powerful, so powerful. They have this like field which is like so unshakable, you know. And when I was bringing them through there, I mean, my hands and everything, I was like, whoa, like they are so powerful. And I'm not sure if you caught the start. I think you were here from the start, Dustin, but yeah, like they are very much, they do carry such a strong, like potent creative energy, that sort of like birther of worlds, birther of galaxies. There's also this really kind of mothering archetypal element that they carry as well. That I do feel that different dragon beings carry different energy depending on what they are attuned to, depending on what realms, you know, like you have your more kind of earth-based dragons, more elemental dragons, and you have like your super galactic ones as well. So yeah, I would say it really depends on kind of what their thing is, you know. Okay. Yeah, just a little, feels like just a little reminder just to ground, just to drink lots of water. Okay guys, I'm gonna close this space. Thank you all so much for coming, and yeah, if you're catching this on the replay, let me know how this hit your field, and enjoy the rest of your Samhain, of your Halloween, and yeah, much love. Bye guys.